Hi, I'm Rocca. Tired of living in the present? This is the Tomorrow Show, where we only dwell on the future. The disappearance of newspapers, the rise of the Amazon Kindle, the fantasy of the paperless office. You might think that paper itself is destined for that big blue dustbin of history. So what is the next chapter in the story of paper, and will it come in anything resembling a book? Take a look. Piñatas, packing material, paper cups, air filters, dollar bills. Like a cheap mummy costume, our lives are wrapped in paper. From its origins in China 2,200 years ago.
Well, this is space paper, and it was made aboard the Columbia Space Shuttle.
To a trip into outer space, paper's trail has been a long and winding one.
Paper clothing is a lot more sturdy than people give it credit for. You can wash paper clothing.
Cindy Bowden is the director of the Robert C. Williams Paper Museum at Georgia Tech. She'll take paper over plastic any day.
When you talk about preserving and conserving artifacts, if they are data on a CD or data on a 3-inch diskette or whatever it happens to be, that data disintegrates a lot faster than paper ever will. We have paper in the museum from 700 AD. It's still here.
But for a commodity with such a storied history, paper's image is routinely beaten to a pulp. Piles of paper are scorned as signs of inefficiency. Letters on paper are sent by what's derisively known as snail mail. And where do the layabouts of the TV series The Office work? A paper company.
Listen up. Let's start from the ground up. Where does paper come from? Trees.
And now, with the explosive growth of digital readers like Amazon's Kindle, many are writing the obituary on paper.
It's alphabetical, and it's a book about words. And so
Bad news for those who prefer their books the old-fashioned way, like Roy Blunt, author of Alphabet Juice and president of the Authors Guild.
In any reading device I've seen, there's actually a blank, a short blank in between one page and another. You know, you push a button and it's just blank for a moment, and then the other page just appears. This is more like taking a stroll through a book, it seems to me.
And you like the way it feels on your fingers?
Yeah, it feels good. And you can also do this, you know, there's something kind of nice about that. You get a little breeze.
You do get a nice breeze. Good summer
Try getting
reading.
a breeze from a Kindle.
Oh, in case you were wondering, Blunt's latest release is available for download.
I'm glad it's out there because any form that people want to buy it in is fine with me. But I just don't tend to read digital books, but that's because I'm 114 years old.
You won't have to wait 114 years for the next generation of digital reader, like this one from Plastic Logic. And on the horizon, a reader so thin, it's strangely paper-like. So, is it time to turn the page on paper? Doubtful. Back in 1975, Businessweek magazine prophesied a paperless office as the office of the future, where PCs would eliminate the need for pesky paper. So what actually happened? Between 1980 and 2000, the use of paper in American offices doubled. Today's office worker burns through 10,000 sheets each year. What helped get us into this paper jam? The copier, created by Xerox.
When we say the Xerox 914 makes copies on ordinary paper, we mean ordinary paper.
It really created the information explosion when we created the plain paper copier, which really meant for the first time people could make a copy of a document after they'd produced it.
Steve Hooper is a vice president of research at Xerox.
Paper still gets printed because it's easier to make notes on, to show something, to discuss it with people.
Today, Hoover says, 40% of pages are thrown out the day they're printed, a startling figure. But buried in all that waste paper could be the seed to paper's future. Xerox is creating reusable paper. Chemically enhanced, it reacts to an ultraviolet LED pen light, and then returns to blank with the application of heat.
And I can write over and over and over again over top of that image.
Also in tomorrow's paper, the development of bioactive labels that can indicate the presence of toxins in food and water. And if you thought walls made of paper were a bad thing, you haven't met Jim Juzak. His house outside Watertown, New York is made of, yup, paper.
It's either called paper-enhanced mortar or papercrete are the two names we can give to it.
It's paper.
And it's paper. It's about 80% paper by volume and 20% type N masonry cement to improve its fire rating and bind it.
Is your house recyclable?
Yes, completely. It will go into the ground as soon as we stop caring for it minorly, or if we knocked it down, it would go back to the elements very, very quickly.
Or you could put it in a giant bin.
Yeah.
Made from the runoff or sludge from a nearby paper factory, Juzak says his papercrete walls are virtually as strong as concrete and equally energy efficient. Could I punch a hole through it?
No. It would cushion your hands. The one nice thing about it is it's strong but flexible.
So if I punched it?
It wouldn't bruise your knuckles too badly. When you look at the components in wood or components in paper, you've got cellulose fibers, which are amongst the strongest materials known.
Strong, cheap, and recyclable. So don't file paper away just yet.